God says, congratulations. Very good news is happening for you in the next 3 hours. Don't make the mistake of ignoring this. If you skip this, you will cry so much. The words echo in your mind as though the universe itself has leaned in close to whisper secrets meant only for you. You can feel the pulse of possibility, a kind of electricity that seems to vibrate through the very air around you, making every small sound sharper, every color more vivid. You are standing on the edge of a moment that will ripple through your life like a pebble dropped into a still pond, spreading outward in ever-widening circles that touch every corner of your existence. The warning, the promise, the excitement, all of it swirls together, forming a sense of urgency that cannot be ignored. You are aware, on some deep level, that ignoring this is not a simple choice. It is a door closing in front of you, a chance that will never return if overlooked. Your heart begins to race as your thoughts start to whirl, trying to imagine what this news could be, where it might come from, and how it will reshape your life. Perhaps it is something long awaited, a breakthrough you've been working toward for months or even years, and yet you cannot pinpoint exactly what form it will take. You think about your past struggles, the nights spent worrying, the moments of doubt when everything seemed impossible, and a sense of gratitude wells up inside you, for you recognize that every challenge, every setback, has been preparing you for this moment. You are ready, whether you realize it or not, to receive something extraordinary. As you wait, time seems to stretch and contract simultaneously. Each second is laden with meaning, each tick of the clock a reminder that the 3 hours are precious, fleeting, and entirely your own to embrace or squander. You wonder whether you will recognize the moment when it arrives, or whether it will appear in some subtle, almost imperceptible way, slipping into your life quietly before exploding into undeniable clarity. You feel a sense of anticipation mingled with awe, a recognition that life can change in an instant, and that the universe often conspires to reward patience, resilience, and attention. Every choice you have made, every risk you have taken, and even every moment of fear has been part of a vast tapestry leading to this point. It is as if a hand unseen has been guiding you, gently nudging you toward readiness, aligning circumstances and opportunities so that the timing is perfect. You are not alone in this, even if you have felt isolated or uncertain. There is a force greater than yourself orchestrating events, and its message is clear: pay attention, act, and receive. You start to consider the different forms that good news can take. Perhaps it is financial, a sum of money arriving unexpectedly, or a career opportunity that elevates you to new heights. Perhaps it is personal, a relationship that deepens in a way that brings profound joy, or a connection with someone whose presence alters your perception of life itself. Perhaps it is spiritual, a revelation or insight that brings clarity, peace, and a sense of purpose that you have been seeking for years. You realize that good news is not always packaged in the ways you anticipate. Often, it comes disguised as a challenge, a decision, or a meeting that seems ordinary until the extraordinary potential within it is revealed. You are aware that the key is to remain open, receptive, and courageous, to recognize the signals and act decisively when the moment arrives. The universe is speaking, and your role is to listen, trust, and respond. You reflect on times in the past when you may have missed opportunities. Perhaps you were distracted, fearful, or uncertain, and the chance slipped through your fingers, leaving behind a lingering sense of regret. You feel a determination rising within you now, a quiet but unwavering resolve not to let this moment pass. You remind yourself that preparation meets opportunity in the most unexpected ways, and that readiness is often the deciding factor between triumph and disappointment. You take a deep breath and center yourself, imagining the feeling of joy, relief, and accomplishment that will accompany the arrival of this news. You visualize yourself receiving it, experiencing the immediate surge of happiness, and then consider how it will continue to influence your life in the hours, days, and weeks to come. The power of anticipation itself is transformative, teaching you patience, gratitude, and the ability to fully inhabit the present moment. You notice how your senses have become sharper, how you are acutely aware of every sound, every movement, every fleeting impression around you. It is as though the universe has tuned you into a higher frequency, preparing you to recognize the subtle signs that will herald the good news. Perhaps it is a message in an email, a call from a friend, a notification, or even a passing encounter that carries monumental significance. You remind yourself not to dismiss any detail, no matter how trivial it seems, because in moments of transformation, the ordinary can become extraordinary in an instant. Your mind races with possibilities, yet you also feel a growing sense of calm, a deep reassurance that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The tension of waiting is tempered by trust, the knowledge that the good news is already on its way, and that your role is to remain present, alert, and ready to receive. You feel a tingling sensation in your chest, an almost electric awareness that something is shifting around you. It is subtle, yet undeniable, as if reality itself is tilting ever so slightly to accommodate the arrival of this extraordinary news. Your thoughts swirl, jumping from hope to curiosity to cautious excitement, but beneath it all is a deep, abiding sense of certainty. You have learned, through experience, that when the universe speaks in such a deliberate and urgent way, the consequences of ignoring it are far greater than any temporary distraction or hesitation. You remind yourself that in every era, in every culture, in every story of transformation, the pivotal moment always required attention, faith, and courage. Now it is your turn to stand at that threshold, fully aware of what is at stake, fully conscious that the next 3 hours are a window into destiny itself. The quiet moments stretch around you, yet within them, your mind begins to map out possibilities. You consider what changes could occur in such a short span of time. Could a conversation with someone you have been avoiding unlock a breakthrough? Could an unforeseen opportunity in your work or personal life appear, bringing clarity or resolution to something that has been lingering unresolved? Could an idea, a thought, a spark of inspiration that you have been nurturing finally takes shape, manifesting in a way that feels tangible and powerful? You recognize that good news does not always arrive fully formed. Sometimes it begins as a subtle shift, a glimmer of insight, or a chance encounter that plants the seed of transformation. Your awareness of this encourages patience, but also vigilance, reminding you that action is often required to fully embrace the blessings that are already making their way toward you. As you wait, your mind drifts to the lessons of the past, to moments when clarity and opportunity intersected, and how life has always tested your readiness to receive. You think of times when fear held you back, when uncertainty clouded your judgment, and when hesitation caused you to miss out on what could have been. And yet, you also remember times when courage, decisiveness, and trust brought rewards far beyond expectation. These reflections are not merely nostalgic, they are guiding lights, reminding you that you are capable, that you have grown, and that you are prepared for what is coming. There is a growing sense of pride, a quiet affirmation that you have endured challenges, honed your instincts, and cultivated a resilience that now serves as a foundation for receiving this news with grace and clarity. You notice how your surroundings seem charged with a subtle energy. The air feels alive, every sound seems sharper, every shadow more distinct, and even the ordinary sounds, the hum of electronics, the distant footsteps, the faint rustling of leaves outside, carry a weight, a significance, as though the universe itself is orchestrating an intricate symphony of signals designed to guide your attention. You feel almost as if you are in a state of heightened perception, a liminal space between the ordinary and the extraordinary, poised on the edge of revelation. Every instinct, every intuition, seems to be pointing toward awareness, urging you not to miss even the smallest sign. The realization hits that the next 3 hours are not simply a countdown, they are a sacred interval, a stretch of time in which the ordinary can be transformed into something miraculous if you remain present, vigilant, and open-hearted. You take a moment to center yourself, drawing in a slow, deep breath and letting it fill you with a sense of calm focus. You allow yourself to release any lingering doubts or anxieties, understanding that fear can blind you to opportunities and joy. In its place, you cultivate a quiet excitement, a sense of anticipation tempered by confidence and trust. You remind yourself that receiving good news is not passive, it requires readiness, clarity, and the willingness to embrace change. You visualize the moment of revelation, seeing yourself responding with grace, gratitude, and joy. You imagine the ripple effects, the ways in which this news will not only impact your life but also touch the lives of those around you. The power of visualization sharpens your focus, aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the positive energy that is already moving toward you. The more you think about it, the more you realize that this moment has been shaped not just by chance but by countless invisible threads of effort, intention, and alignment. Every choice, every action, every moment of persistence has contributed to the formation of this opportunity. You begin to understand the interconnectedness of your journey, seeing how challenges and triumphs alike have led to this threshold. There is a profound sense of gratitude for all that has come before, a recognition that even struggles and setbacks have been teachers, shaping you into someone capable of receiving and embracing extraordinary good news. Your heart swells with appreciation, and the anticipation becomes sweeter, richer, more deeply felt, as you recognize that what is coming is not random but a culmination of your journey, a reward for endurance, awareness, and readiness. You feel a subtle shift in your energy, a sense that the universe is actively responding to your openness. Your attention sharpens further, and a deep intuitive knowing begins to emerge, hinting at the form this news might take. You consider practical possibilities. Could it be a call, a message, a meeting, or an event? Could it be a revelation, a confirmation, a sudden insight, or a creative breakthrough? Perhaps it will arrive in a form that surprises you entirely, something you could never have predicted yet instantly recognize as profoundly significant. You realize that the precise form matters less than the effect, that the core of this moment is about recognition, acceptance, and the active embrace of positive transformation. The mind can speculate endlessly, but the heart, trained in awareness and openness, will recognize the truth instantly, in a way that is unmistakable and enduring. As the minutes pass, you notice a subtle change in your perception. It is as if your senses have become attuned to a frequency you had not noticed before. Colors seem richer, sounds carry more texture, and even the light in the room takes on a warmth that feels almost sacred. Every small movement, every subtle shift in your environment, feels imbued with meaning, as though the world itself is leaning in, aware of the pivotal moment approaching. You begin to understand that the next 3 hours are not merely about the arrival of news, but about your capacity to fully inhabit presence, to recognize significance, and to align yourself with opportunity. You feel a quiet reverence for time itself, realizing that the moments you often take for granted carry hidden potential, and that this period, brief yet infinite in its importance, is a sacred window in which transformation is possible. Your mind races through possibilities, but this time, speculation is accompanied by an unusual clarity. You no longer dwell on fear or uncertainty, nor do you anxiously grasp for predictions. Instead, a sense of trust begins to emerge, deep and steady, anchoring you in the knowledge that what is coming is already aligned with your highest good. You feel a warmth in your chest, a subtle vibration of anticipation that resonates with your inner sense of purpose. It is almost as if the universe is signaling, confirming that you are ready, that you are prepared, and that the good news, whatever its form, is not a random gift but a natural continuation of your journey. You begin to sense that readiness itself is part of the reward, that by cultivating patience, awareness, and openness, you have already created the conditions for your own fulfillment. Every second now carries weight. You notice how your thoughts are sharper, how your attention is more precise, how even fleeting impressions seem to carry hidden meaning. Perhaps it is a glance from a stranger, a word spoken in passing, or a notification you almost dismiss that will hold the key to the unfolding moment. You remind yourself not to ignore any detail, however insignificant it may seem, for opportunity often hides in plain sight, waiting for eyes that are ready to see and hearts willing to receive. You realize that this is a test of attentiveness as much as of readiness, a moment that calls for both alertness and stillness, for a balance of anticipation and presence, of focus and receptivity. The interplay between patience and action becomes clear. You must be prepared to move swiftly when the signal comes, yet not act prematurely, lest the opportunity pass unnoticed. You begin to feel a growing sense of joy bubbling beneath your awareness, a quiet excitement that is both exhilarating and grounding. It is not simply happiness at the thought of receiving good news, but a profound recognition of life's abundance, a sense that the universe is not indifferent but actively participating in the orchestration of your destiny. You reflect on times when fortune seemed distant, when challenges felt insurmountable, and how each moment of perseverance, each act of courage, has been a necessary step leading to this moment. You understand now that life is rarely random, it is a series of intricate patterns, woven with intention, lessons, and unseen guidance. This realization fills you with gratitude and reverence, and you sense that even the waiting itself is part of the gift, a period designed to attune you to subtle signals, to sharpen your awareness, and to prepare your heart for the joy to come. The sensation in your chest grows stronger, a rhythmic pulse that aligns with the anticipation in your mind. It is as though your body itself is reminding you to remain present, to listen, to watch, and to trust. You notice the way your breathing has slowed, deepened, becoming a grounding force that centers you even as your thoughts stretch outward toward possibilities. You reflect on how often life asks for attention in these ways, presenting small windows of significance that can change everything if we recognize them. And now, the opportunity is unmistakable, poised to arrive within hours, perhaps moments, and your entire being is engaged in receiving it fully. There is a sense of sacred timing, a recognition that everything in your past, every struggle, every choice, every moment of endurance, has conspired to bring you here, to this precise intersection of preparation and destiny. As you sit with these thoughts, you begin to notice patterns in your day, subtle signs that hint at the approaching news. Perhaps it is a repeated word, a familiar number, a chance meeting, or a sudden insight. The universe seems to communicate not only through events but also through feelings, subtle intuitions, and moments of clarity that arrive when the mind is quiet, open, and attentive. You feel an increasing sense of alignment, as if every cell in your body is resonating with the same frequency of expectation and readiness. There is no rush, no panic, only a steady, deepening awareness that this moment, these hours, are part of a larger design that you are now privileged to witness. You remind yourself that the reward is not just the news itself, but the growth, patience, and awareness cultivated in waiting. Time seems to stretch, the minutes stretching and compressing in ways that feel both infinite and immediate. You find yourself reflecting on the meaning of good news, on how it changes not only circumstances but perception, how it can illuminate paths that were previously hidden, and how it often arrives precisely when readiness meets opportunity. You consider the ripple effects, not only in your own life but in the lives of others, understanding that the positive energy of this moment can spread outward, touching friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers in ways you cannot yet perceive. The anticipation becomes a meditation, a practice of attunement, as you allow yourself to be fully present, fully alive, and fully ready to act when the moment arrives. And in that moment, as the news finally unfolded, you realized that the universe had not only delivered its promise but had, all along, been preparing you to embrace it with a heart wide open and a life forever changed.